So for this video, I'm actually doing a two-parter. So for this Jumping the Broom tier list video, I'm actually filming a whole review and analysis, like more of a retrospective for this, but I just want to go on and get the tier list out, so when I do the review for the actual movie, you guys already know how I feel about these characters and all that stuff. Hey guys, it's Alexandria X and welcome back to the channel. So I'm gonna stop all that jibber jabber and we're actually gonna get straight into the video. So in our first tier we have the best, which I like this character, you know, they're good. Then we have funny, good, cool people, neutral, didn't do much, kinda don't like you, and I don't like you. Oh, Jason and Sabrina, get some. The first character is Sabrina Watson. I actually like Sabrina because I think out of everybody in this entire movie, she's like really like the only reasonable person, especially everything dealing with Jason's mother and all that extra stuff. I feel like she's very reasonable, and the only level-headed one, yeah, she's like very bubbly, maybe a little zealous at times, you know, very eager, but you know, sometimes she could be too happy, but you know, but that's just her character, and it's not how she's not fake about that. Like, that's really her character. She's really genuinely that sweet and that nice. So I don't want to put her in like the best character, or like, but she's not funny, but she's good. She's really a good character, and I like how, you know, honestly, I think out of everybody on this list, I think Sabrina is the only best character in this entire movie. So I'm gonna put her up there in the best. Jason Taylor, her fiance / husband, and I do not necessarily like Jason. It's just like the way he went about everything in the movie, especially dealing with his mother. I don't like that, especially since he didn't put his mother in her place until the very end of the movie. And bruh, like, you should have been put that woman in her place. But other than that, Jason, he's okay overall, but it's just the fact, him and his mother, like, if it wasn't for his mother, he honestly would be a really great character. So for Jason, he's cool, but like I said, it's just his mother. It's like, that's the only issue with him, is his mom. So I'm gonna actually just put Jason in cool people, only because he is a cool character, but I can't rank him any higher than that because of his mother. Claudine, I actually like Claudine. She was cool, but I just didn't like how when it came to her issues with Greg, she kind of just would never talk to him and use sarcasm as a way to not talk to him. Like, girl, you gotta talk about your relationship, girl. Like, you need to communicate. You got on your own daughter in the beginning of the movie because she was not communicating with you about Jason's family, so the least you could do is communicate with your husband. But other than that, I think Claudine was a pretty good character. You know, she, especially for what she did, everything that she did was pretty honorable. So I want to put her, I'm in between good and cool people, because I think she was a pretty good character overall. But you know, like I said, it's just the fact, her resentment toward Greg because she thought he was cheating on her or having an affair when that was never the case. As long as she would have just communicated with her husband, that would have never transpired. So I think I want to put Claudine, I think I'm gonna put her in cool people, because I just wish she would have talked to her husband. That's my thing with her. Oh, Pam Taylor. I'm gonna say this right now. If anybody knows anything about this movie, this woman is trifling. She's a boy. She's like the definition of a boy mom, and I do not like Pam Taylor. Like, I just don't like Pam Taylor whatsoever. She's rude, she's conniving, she's sneaky, snarky, all the things. So I'm gonna put her in I don't like you. She's automatically in the bottom tier. Automatically. Greg Watson. Greg was cool. He was alright, but I don't really have any like strong feelings toward Greg. I don't really know what to say about his character. He was really just there, but you know, he was okay. You know, he was alright. So I don't feel comfortable ranking him in cool people. So I'm just gonna put him in neutral, because I don't dislike him, but I don't like him either. He's very middle ground for me. Willie Earl. I love Willie Earl. He is so funny. Willie Earl is so funny, man. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth is so funny. And Mike Epps did a really good job portraying this character. So I'm gonna automatically put Willie Earl in funny because he is so hilarious. This is so funny. Geneva. I mentioned it in my video, and I don't know when my official Jumping the Broom retrospective will be coming out, but I did mention how when it comes to Geneva's character, I didn't like how when her and Claudine were in the heat of an argument, she pushed back on like Claudine by saying, at least I could get pregnant, because that's like definitely a sore spot for Claudine. There were an argument, but I feel like that information has no room to come to. Whenever you're in an argument with somebody, like, you know what I'm saying, like, that was very shady, low, and I didn't like that from Geneva's character. Yeah, she was supposed to be like rich auntie and all that stuff, and you know, kind of bougie and bourgeois. It's not that I don't like Geneva, I just wish that, I think that's really my main issue with her, was when her and Claudine were in that argument. So I just didn't like that. I feel very neutral about Geneva as well, you know, so I'm gonna put her right beside Greg. Shonda was really more so the voice of reason for Pam, and I wish she would have gotten on Pam a little more about her actions and the way she acted. Yeah, throughout the film she was doing that, but I wish she would have did it more, because things would have not transpired had Shonda said a little more to her. Like, yeah, she pinched Pam when she was like, I'll break this wedding up if I have to, but there should have been more conversation with the friends. But other than that, I like Shonda. I think she's a good character. Other than that, I think she's a pretty good character. So I don't want to put her in cool people. I actually want to put her in good, because I really do think she really was the voice of reason. But it's just, you know, out of Pam's self-malition toward Sabrina and the family. So, and that's something you can't necessarily stop, but at least I'll give it to Shonda. At least she tried. So I'm gonna put her in good. She was a good character. Amy. Now, in my review, or in my retrospective video that I'll be putting out, I don't really touch a lot on Amy, because I don't feel the need to touch on Amy. But Amy's character was really supposed to be that white woman with the microaggressions and, you know, backhanded stuff and underlying racism. That was her thing, because she was white, operating a black wedding and around black people. So, you know, she was just in that clueless, questionable white woman. And I don't really care too much for Amy. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't really like Amy. I don't even feel like she needs to be put in neutral, like none of that. I'm actually gonna put her in kind of don't like you. I get it, she was stressed out throughout the entire movie, because she was a wedding planner and was planning somebody's wedding for like only 2 days, and like they probably contacted Amy like the week of the wedding, and like, so she's freaking out. So I understand on her end of things that, you know, she was flustered with a lot of stuff. But other than that, I don't like Amy. I don't necessarily like her, so I'm gonna put her in kind of don't like you. Malcolm, and I automatically do not like Malcolm, because the comment that he makes to one of Sabrina's friends when they're at the bachelor party, when she was like, yeah, Malcolm, it was nice to meet you too, and he was like, don't get too hasty, I don't usually talk to dark skins. What? Ew, that's so disgusting. That is so disgusting. That is so nasty. Ugh. And the way he was just egging on Jason only because Jason didn't pick him to be a best man. Like, grow up. Like, come on. So I'm gonna put him right beside his auntie, and I don't like you, because I don't like Malcolm whatsoever. Sebastian, and I feel like for Sebastian, he was just there for me. Like, Sebastian didn't do much. Yeah, he had his thing with Shonda, but other than that, he didn't do too much. He didn't do much. So I'm actually just gonna put him in didn't do much. Blythe, I don't know. I think the only person that I feel like as if they had like character growth in the film was Blythe. Like, yeah, at the end of the movie they try to give Pam a redemption, but I just think it was like a slap throw on redemption. But Pam deep down was still like the bitter woman that she was. But I feel like out of everybody in this movie, Blythe was the only one who kind of had some character development, trying to really figure herself out and just wanting to understand, you know, how things were for her and how because I guess she was a little jealous that Sabrina was getting married and she wasn't. So she was trying to navigate her feelings with that, but also her little relationship with Chef, because she wasn't used to a man like him. So, you know, she was really just trying to figure herself out in this film and trying to get developed. So I appreciate that for Blythe's character. But other than that, I don't know how I feel about Blythe. I think I'm gonna put her in neutral, because I don't have too many feelings about her. I don't like her, but I don't dislike her either. She's very middle ground for me. Just like Greg, she's very middle ground for me, but I did like her, you know, development throughout the movie. Ricky, and I'm just gonna automatically go on and put Ricky in didn't do much for me, because Ricky was kind of just there to be there. But I mean, he did try to be a voice of reason for Jason, but he got talked out of it by his cousin Malcolm. So other than that, I think Ricky didn't do much. You know, Ricky, he didn't do too much for me. It's Chef, and I feel like Chef is also another character that didn't do much for me either. He was just there to be there, mainly more so as a plot device for Blythe, but not like he was there for Blythe, but Blythe wasn't a plot hole for him. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna put him in didn't do much. Mabel was just there to be there as well. She just was kind of there to be there for the wedding, kind of oversee things, but she didn't do much for me. But she was like an early voice of reason for Claudine, saying that, you know, you don't know that, you know, he's having an affair. You don't know that to be true. I just can't wait for the retrospective video to come out so you guys can really understand, because I do say more about Mabel and the way Claudine and Gregory's relationship could have been and everything like that. I don't want to touch too much bases on this video about that, but you get what I'm saying. So I feel like for Mabel, she didn't do much, but I feel neutral about her, because it was just more so for the sake of Angela Bassett's character, more so for Claudine. So I feel like although she didn't do much, she was a slight voice of reason, and the voice of reason came out later in the film. So you know what, I'm gonna put Mabel in neutral, although she wasn't really there for the film. Next is Reverend James. Reverend James didn't do much. He was really just there to be there as the Reverend, you know, giving a little insight onto the relationship and how even a soulmate can really test you, you know, before all the movie shenanigans came about. So he didn't do much. So I'm just gonna put him there. And last is Lauren. Now I actually had to look at the credit scene to know that this girl's name was Lauren, because throughout the film they don't even call her by her name. You know, Sabrina's like Blythe, but they never called for Lauren's name. So, but Lauren didn't do much for me, so she didn't do much. So she can go right in that tier of didn't do much. I feel like a lot of these characters just didn't really do much. But this is the list, this is the tier. What are we thinking? How are we feeling about it? I think it's a pretty decent tier from what I'm gathering. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Especially subscribe, and I hope that y'all have a great day. Bye.